Exactly a year ago, I was that guy who'd rarely read any books. Reading in general almost felt like an obstacle to me. Now, you might think that maybe I did not find any good books to read, or I wholeheartedly hated reading, which was not the case at all. I always loved it when someone in person or on YouTube would talk about how certain books completely changed the entire course of life, helping them build wealth and their desired lifestyle. If that's the case, why did I not like to read in the first place? What were the reasons that hindered my desire to read? And how have I been able to overcome them and become an avid reader, where I literally read a whole book within a week or less? Not only reading, I gain an understanding of what the book is actually trying to convey. If you wonder how, stick to the video and grab a notebook. I will show you exactly how to overcome those hidden obstacles when it comes to reading. Hello everyone, this is Mehedi and I'm currently a state-funded high school exchange student in the US. I remember going to a bookstore and picking up my first ever self-improvement book, which I was truly, if not passionately excited to dive deep into reading. Just like those people who had a positive impact on their lives reading those self-improvement books, my intention was not any different than theirs. I wanted to gather valuable insights from those books and apply them to my life. But soon I realized that I could barely keep up reading continuously, let alone utilizing the wisdom from the books. Now, coming from a non-English speaking country, one of the problems was very transparent to me. My vocabulary was not strong enough. Every time I read a page and tried to understand the context properly, I'd have to look through dictionaries a couple of times, and which highly affected my focus and made the idea of reading very, very unpleasant. Was that the only obstacle to my reading journey as a beginner? Not exactly. There were definitely other factors being played, whilst the lack of vocabulary being the crucial one. Now, let me give you a disclaimer before you dive deep into listening to me throughout the whole video. This video will not only guide you to become an avid reader, but will help you to improve your vocabulary as well. You're going to learn a technique that will keep you miles ahead of those people who are frustratingly trying to enhance their vocabulary from those external so-called word list. Don't believe me? Then buckle up and get ready to be amazed by the strategy I'm about to reveal to you that extensively facilitated my path to becoming an avid reader. As a beginner, the first change I made was switching from reading physical books to reading ebooks. Now, some people out there will oppose this idea, expressing how the vibe of reading from a physical book can never be comparable. I get that, and I even myself love to collect physical copies of my favorite books. It's not that I do not enjoy reading physical books. It's just that I do not recommend starting to read physical books to someone if their vocabulary is not very strong. And I'll briefly explain why. First of all, and the most important one, is context-based definitions. While reading, if I ever encountered any unknown word, I could just immediately see the context-based definitions for that word right inside the e-reader app, rather than externally opening up a dictionary and getting those out of context definitions. And I will get back to you which app you should use to read. But before that, if you're still watching, consider giving this video a thumbs up to let your brain know that you're desperate for improvement. Secondly, another advantage of ebooks for me was I never had to wait for any physical copy of a book to arrive. Whenever someone would recommend me a good book, I could just immediately buy the book online without any sort of hindrance or waiting. And that alone significantly eased the process when it came to my reading. And I also noticed when I had to wait for a book to arrive, my excitement for reading the book would gradually abate. And by the time the book had arrived, I was not as enthusiastic or feeling that drive to read the book as when I first discovered or was recommended the book. Moving on. Now thirdly, talking about the mobility that comes with reading ebooks. If you travel a lot or barely get any time to stay home most of the day, like me, reading just becomes so easy on an ebook because it's literally on your smartphone or whatever electronic device you're using to read. And now, the app that I use for reading ebooks is called Kindle, and it is available on iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, and the web, basically giving you the flexibility to read ebooks on any device possible on Earth. Now you might be wondering what's so special about this app. And before that, let me tell you, no, this video was not sponsored and I'm not printing any money recommending this app. But hey, Amazon, if you're watching this, just to let you know, I'm open to sponsorship. Okay, now moving on to the topic. What I really love about the Kindle app is that the developers specifically designed it to make reading enjoyable and productive, and especially for those who do not have a strong vocabulary. Sometimes it can be quite challenging to understand the context of some sentences in a book, especially if your vocabulary is not very strong. And that's when the dictionary inside the Kindle app comes really in handy. When you touch and hold a word on the screen, it gives you a pop-up providing you with context-based definitions for the word you have selected. Now, why are context-based definitions very important? Context-based definitions give you a clear understanding of a word, and with that, you can properly learn to use that word anywhere you want. You'll also notice a small Wikipedia page for the word you have selected right beside the context-based dictionary. And not only that, also a translator that translates your selected word into any language you want. Discovering this app was game-changing for me. It had a very good impact on my reading. So throughout the whole video today, I tried to briefly showcase the strategy I've been following to enhance my reading journey. If I had wished, I could have elaborated and made a long video about this topic, but I did not. I strongly focused on delivering the key takeaways in a clear and understandable way. And as I shared my strategy for making reading fun, I'd assume that you've already taken notes on the key points. If not, do not hesitate to watch the video again, and also consider helping someone you care about by sharing this video who just started reading books and wants to improve their vocabulary. And I will see you in my next video.